Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Making magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center and I'm here with Matthew Serrano with his movie Drink Up. Let's take a look at the clip.
How do you do, Mr. Anderson? Ma'am. Now I want you to go and finish painting those hobby horses. Television? Did you say we're on television? Oh, why didn't you tell me? Oh, my hair's a mess.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for being here, and congratulations on your film Drink Up.
Oh, thank you so much.
For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Well, Drink Up is a story of a little girl. She's fetching beers for her dad, and it's a story about the one night when she comes back with the beer in her hand and finds that there's a monster behind the couch behind her dad.
Yeah, it gave us all nightmares for that. Thank you. Where did the inspiration for the story come about?
Well, it really just kind of came out of thin air. It was a film that I made as a submission film for Cal State Long Beach. And their rubric was to make a film under 2 minutes with no dialogue and have it show a character make a significant discovery and then make a significant decision based off that discovery. So I remember one of my writer friends, when we sat down, mentioned something about like a monster behind the couch, and a few minutes later the whole story just came flooding to me. Like just the entire outline of the story came all at once.
What I love about it is the fact that that this interview is already longer than the actual film itself, which I think is brilliant. But there's so much to talk about the film, which I love. And I think the one thing I really like about it is the way you start the film and you create this really sort of like dark atmosphere. You know, you really kind of knew that stuff was going down, but no one really, I certainly didn't feel that it was expecting it to go in a direction where there was this like monster behind the couch, which was scary, like really, really bad. What sort of things you use as a director and sort of creating that sort of production design? What sort of things were you trying to sort of create in terms of your set and obviously kind of how to scare your audience?
Well, I had a Red Epic Dragon on loan from Red, and so this was like the last week or that I had it on loan, so I really wanted to make sure that I made something good. Yeah. So I know that one of the things that like I put probably the most focus on was the cinematography. Like me and my DP, Alberto Gonzalez, like took so much time blocking out every single shot and experimenting with things. We actually had like a whole day to ourselves with the equipment and the camera, and we would go through like every single shot and try things to really make sure that we control the lighting, because we had a lot to control. Like there's a TV, there's like a Christmas tree, and then also we were doing day for night, and it's in a really small space. Like it was a really small space too. So I think a big focus for the film was cinematography, definitely.
It was really very cleverly shot, very, very cleverly shot. And what I love is you kind of didn't reveal everything. So what I love is that when you were kind of showing these shots and showing these kind of figures behind the sofa, we weren't quite sure what it was. Was that kind of intentional to kind of give us this sort of mystique?
Well, it was hard because I mean, like, to talk about shot economy, like I was mentioning last night at the Q&A, a big thing that I had to worry about was squeezing all this information into a minute and 59 seconds. Yeah. How do you get an audience to understand the language of your film and to understand the location that they're in and to care for your characters with no dialogue in a minute and 59 seconds? So it was definitely like a lot of thought was put into how much do we cover, like each, different parts of the room, and how much do we cover the characters and stuff like that.
Well, I love that you did that though, because I say it's very commendable to make a film, particularly a short film, but then to actually, like you said, have us care about the characters and also kind of take us down the scare route of what happens in this particular film in such a short space of time, which I'm sure was a big challenge as well, but you certainly, I felt like you did it. In terms of finding your cast, how was that process for you?
For the cost?
Yeah.
A big thing that helped with the cost, because my parents really wanted me to, they were like the big help with this film. They really wanted me to make a film where like the location kind of spoke for itself and was impressive and had like good production quality to it. Exactly. So they were talking to me about renting out a spot, and I just told them, look, what if we just cleared out like the office in our house
Ah, nice.
And they didn't believe me because I was like, I could turn like this half of the house into like a small like apartment because we live in like kind of a bigger house. And they like didn't believe me. But luckily like my dad trusted me enough to clear out like this entire office. Like there was a bed in there, there was a giant desk and computers and TV and all that stuff. He cleared everything out, and then we just moved in like, you know, all the furniture that you saw in the film. And yeah, when he saw it, he couldn't believe it. He was like,
"Oh, good
like,
parents you have."
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
They're the best. But I mean, we managed to keep the film really, really cheap.
Yeah.
I won't say how much, but like, it's really cheap.
Well, that's good. I mean, obviously, if you've got those resources to use, I mean, utilize them. You certainly gave it this atmosphere, like it was like this, you know, small apartment feel. I would never have imagined it was your own home office, you know. So that certainly worked. And in terms of finding the actual like the cast of the people, like your actors, how was that process for you?
We went to backstage for Lola and Ryan. That's the father and the daughter. And then the Beast was played by one of my friends who really loves, he's super tall and super skinny, as you saw. And so he always is getting like cast as the monster types, and he loves horror movies. So I was like, just come on for a day and do this thing with me. But with Ryan and Lola, it was, it was just like on backstage. I found them and I saw the two of them, and I thought like, yeah, they could work. Because when I saw their, what I did to cast them, was because there's no dialogue. I just said, Ryan act scary and then act like remorseful, and then Lola act scared and act sad. And when she sent me her tape of her like crying and standing there and just seeing how vulnerable she looked, and then seeing Ryan how intimidating he looked, but then like how like sad, like how much of a sad like empty father kind of shell. Yeah, you know, that they really sold me.
And I think that's one thing that part of the film that you showed, which again you've got to feel these characters in such a short space of time, is that there is a moment where you've got to watch it and drink up, where you literally see this moment of change in in the father's character, and a reminder of who he is, what he is, the fact that he is a father, and you know, it's sort of a reveal that a shot that you show that I love, that kind of showed his sort of like he started to look at himself and about what he was doing, and I thought that was really great as you tied in with this monster, which was just great. What was it like to have your film at New Filmmakers LA in front of an audience, and to kind of get your audience to react, you know, from what they've just seen of your film? Was that quite fun?
Oh, it was great. It's always great, you know, having your film show in front of people, because I mean, you know, as artists, you know, we have to at some point, you know, put it out into the world and have other people see it. I really liked talking with everyone afterwards about it. I actually was told by people, someone told me, they were like, oh, everyone gasped when the monster did that or did this, and I was like, I didn't hear any of that over my own heartbeat.
Isn't it crazy?
I was so nervous during the screening.
Oh no, you shouldn't be. It was
I'm
really
nervous
brilliant.
during every screening.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's part of the past of being a director, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I was trying to explain to my parents. I was like, I'm telling you, like even Spielberg gets nervous during like his
100%,
premieres.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a thing. But
it probably only gets worse.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But yeah, talking with everyone afterwards, it was really nice. It was really relieving to, you know, go back to what we were talking about, you know, the challenge of like having a film where there's no dialogue and it's only like 2 minutes, and to hear people, I had someone come up to me and tell me like that it really made them think about their dad who has alcoholism, who's an alcoholic, and how it really made him think.
I love that. That's what I think. I love that you had that element in there as well, because you wouldn't necessarily. Again, what I love about film is it had a great strong narrative, and then also had these very scare elements as well, which I thought was really really great. And that was something that was really great. In fact, this monster almost was this sort of
personification.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so clever. And then there was a great change in the fact that the fact in this genre people can feel that and have get an essence of morality in that as well, or something that released them. That's really powerful, and so well done to you.
Thank you.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? I've got 2 documentaries on the way.
Oh, great.
And I've just wrapped a proof of concept for a show series idea that I want to develop with my friends. So I'm still working.
I'd say what sort of subject you're looking
Oh, yeah, totally. The series idea, we made a short film. My friends have a tiki bar in their backyard. And so,
I mean, why would you not want to have a tiki bar in your backyard?
Not, right?
Yeah, great.
And we came up with a whole narrative about 1940s Hollywood and this one tiki bar that got started up. We did research into tiki culture. So there's that. I have a documentary about these 2 guys who snuck into an old Disney ride over in Epcot in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought cameras along and they filmed and documented everything, and they put it all on this YouTube channel that no one's seen.
Wow.
And it's like this crazy untold story that like barely anyone knows about. There's actually people at Disney that know about it, but it's one of those things where, because there's people sneaking into rides, like you can't really talk about it. So there's like big names at Disney that are like big fans of these two guys. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, I decided I really like their story a lot.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a story of like two friends. That's a really good story, so I wanted to tell that. And the other one's kind of a little more hush-hush.
Yeah. Well, no, listen, we're very grateful for your work, and we're looking forward to seeing much more of it. So thank you for showing Drink Up, and we look forward to the next project. So thank you, Matthew.
Thank you so much.
Drink up, everybody. Drink up.